yes, our official birthday was International Women's Day, 1978.
And the premise surrounding?
110 years off.
Well, what happened is that there was going to be this dance for International Women's Day, and they needed a band,
And ad hoc.
and ad hoc appeared magically as a group just to do that one dance. And it was a grouping of some people who played before in another band called Basement Faith, which put out a record and expired immediately after. And
We're still giving them away, right?
other people who some of the core of that band had been talking to about doing, more or less political music with a group that would try to include men and women on some kind of...
With the intention of playing other gigs or just playing the one?
Not really. It first came together just literally on an ad hoc basis to do this one gig.
Right.
And I guess where it went from there is that the people doing it we were well received, we had a good time, and we got asked at that point if we'd do some other gigs.
And right from the beginning there were men and women involved?
Mm-hmm.
And intentionally so?
Yes, that was part of the thing for International Women's Day.
Actually, as the personnel have changed from time to time, we've discussed who is going to come into the band on the very basis of trying to keep that male-female ratio somewhat balanced.
Okay, so that's a consideration when choosing new members. I guess I would want to direct this question to the women in the band about, I know that two of you are already in a women's band, and maybe you can comment about if the premise of the band is to try and integrate men and women together, whether you feel that works. Has there been as much room for growth in this band as there has been playing in a women's band?
I played in a couple other bands what had men and women.
Right.
And I didn't like it. That's why I first started playing with a women's band, because I didn't like playing with men. And this is the most comfortable I've ever been playing with men. And I don't think I'd ever find anywhere else. But just because this is not a livelihood, it's a political.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think the difference is, because men and women can come on grounds on that. But when you come into the finances of it all, then you have differences. You have power struggles, constant power struggles. And here we don't have power struggles because we're all here for the same cause.
Well, I think it's also because the way individuals were initiated into the band, that was probably an issue. Like, that they got along with each other, and like everybody in this band is like works really amazingly well. I'm amazed. And there's not anybody in this band that I don't like. Mm-hmm. I get along with everybody, and everybody in the band is really sensitive and really cooperatively minded. And
us men in the band are really great, but but there are some real differences, and it's not just simple equality.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question.
The men typically came into the band with either more technical knowledge or
more experience playing.
Mm-hmm.
More experience playing their instrument. There's some exceptions to that, but and so that starts off with this level of inequality, and certainly like around the technical stuff, there's been it's often easier to let things slide, right? Let the people who know which end you plug, into which
usually
end,
the men,
right, do that. And
it's not that it slides, it's just because it's taken over lots of times too.
Well, it's just happening that way, and it's a combination of the men not sort of demanding that the women learn it, and the women not demanding that they learn it, and then
because it's hard to learn, and you have to work at it.
Time, and,
it's like,
and it's breaking through all that conditioning for all of us.
Yeah.
But then you get like the problems of sometimes the women borrow equipment or use equipment or take things and plug them in ways that seem dumb to the men, and then the men get grumpy. Hey, what are you doing plugging this into that? Well, you should know better. You've been in the band for 3 years, goddammit.
but you change the setup every 2 months. Because you're fixing this and you're making it.
Hot subject, hot subject.
Sounds like a metaphor for society.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, right.
So you know,
It does sound like that.
we have all that stuff that we haven't worked through.
A lady don't go out alone at night. No, no, a lady don't go out alone at night. But I don't accept the verdict. It's an old one anyway. 'Cause nowadays a woman can't even go out in the middle of the day. No, no, can't even go out in the middle of the day. So we're gonna fight back in large numbers. Fight back, I can't make it alone. Fight back in large numbers. Together we can make it safe home. Ho, ho, together we can make it safe home. Women all around the world, every color, religion, and age. One thing we got in common, we can all be battered and raped. Hey, hey, we can all be battered and raped. So we gotta fight back in large numbers. Fight back, I can't make it alone. Fight back in large numbers. Together we can make a safe home. Oh, oh, together we can make a safe home. Some have an easy answer, build a lock and live in a cage. But my fear is turned to anger, and our anger is turned into rage, and we won't live our lives in a cage. So we gotta fight back in large numbers. Fight back, we can't make it alone. Fight back in large numbers. Together we can make a safe home. Oh, oh, together we can make a safe home. The day I lived in terror, by night I lived in fright. For as long as I can remember, a lady don't go out alone at night. Go back, lady don't go out alone at night. Fight back, lady don't go out alone at night. Fight back, lady don't go out alone at night. Fight back!
What other criteria are involved in, picking people for the composition?
I guess some degree of musical contribution, in the sense of what...
Thank you.
We do have musical criteria.
Yes.
I snuck in anyway.
And I guess in some way that we all share a kind of an ideological outlook. I guess we probably don't go through that process too often, but that we basically share a general agreement about what's wrong with the society we live in and what kind of society we would like to see.
Plus, there's a lot of volunteer work goes into this, and that's kind of self-selecting right there.
Yeah. Got it? I got it. What are you using that?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Side down. Good stuff.
So assuming that when you pick gigs that you're going to do, there are some that you turn down then?
Half the time it's
but not very many.
Half the time it's scheduling and half the time it's ideology.
So In terms of that ideology, give me an example of a gig that you wouldn't do without taking some outrageous example that is obvious.
We were asked one time to play for the NDP, and the first time that question was asked, we ended up leaving town as a whole group and going off to a cabin on one of the Gulf Islands on a whole weekend, sat there and debated the issue for a whole weekend. And eventually that particular request, we turned it down. What we decided is that we were going to play for the NDP, we would play, but we would charge them. So that the money that because they are a fairly large, politically centrist party with a lot of money, and we don't have to raise funds for them. So we wanted to get something back in turn to help us to fund the equipment so we could play for groups that didn't have much money, that politically were more progressive.
On the other hand, other times, like during election campaigns, we played for free for the NDP.
That's true.
So we're not always...
For specific candidates.
Yeah.
We're also not overwhelmingly consistent necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry,
Very infrequently do we play for money, and well, we always get a little bit of money. We get $100 plus or minus. Minus if the event doesn't make much money. We're pretty flexible in that. But on the other hand, we've got about $1,000, maybe $1,500 a year in maintenance alone. Just trying to keep the equipment, actually upgrading it slightly, but it costs that much just to keep things going.
Another consideration too is sometimes if we think we're going to be playing for a new audience, like people that have never heard us before, and that we think would be fun to play for, because there's a fairly big community of people who go to some of the same events, and we enjoy it when we feel like we're going to see new people who are going to have a different response to us, because we're not a typical band.
Do you think that these events that in general people's consciousness is raised by your presence and by the tunes you're playing, or is it more a sense of, this is a good cause, I'm going to get drunk and have a good time?
Well, occasionally we've played for things like trade unions on strike with real live, working class people who weren't lefties coming and seeing us, and occasionally being a little bit appalled by some of our more sloganistic lyrics. On the other hand, we also, at one point, we did a Christmas party for a trade union in North Vancouver, and during the breaks, we made a point of mingling with the audience, and we got overwhelmingly favorable response, and it was like one middle-aged person was so thrilled because he'd brought his teenage daughter and her boyfriend, and this was the first thing that he could imagine ever being at, that he had a good time and they had a good time. And he wanted to know how come we weren't playing bars in North Vancouver, and nobody in that whole audience picked up on the fact that we were supposed to be a commie band.
Yeah.
Here we are doing In the Mood and God Bless the Child. They thought we were, oh, what a nice band. They play swing and rock and roll and
country.
I think politically, in terms of what the band as a statement makes, is more the fact that we've done so many benefits and that we're known for that, and it's like that we just sort of come in and play. It doesn't, and we're there basically, I think, to allow people to have a good time.
Yeah, I don't think we could claim that, like, if we go out and play for average people, that we're making them vastly more socialist conscious.
And that's not the premise for us going to do a benefit.
Right. Okay.
And also the people in the benefit, often the theme of the benefit is very noticeable. and people will give speeches at the benefit. So, you know, it's not us so much as the producers of the benefit.
Yeah, well, my other point, I'm not too sure if it's along the same lines as, but the fact that a lot of benefit gigs are composed knowing that they can pay a band $100 to play for a whole night.
Yeah, right.
And it, like, there was one gig that putting a roof on a childcare daycare place, and they initiated that. Well, my belief, anyways, is that they initiated that gig knowing that there was a specific band that could do it for $100 with, you know, clear with equipment and play for a whole night, which if there wasn't a band like Ad Hoc, they would never be able to hold a benefit to raise money, and a lot of money was raised.
regard the band as being therapeutic. That it's a period in my life where all the other sort of stuff goes out the window, and it's like a routine and a social situation and a whole context and playing where I can end up losing myself when I play. So it's kind of like refreshing.
And we get them back to haul the speakers down the stairs.
Right. You know,
it's fun, yeah, but
you know,
lots of work.
So there's so much. I get back so much from it that I don't find it being burnout.
The other thing about political work is that you can sometimes go, say lobby, and you can go on for years and may or may not get anywhere. We get a hit every time we play, which is like every second time we meet, or third time we meet, we're at a dance and people are enjoying themselves. And maybe the rhythm section has it together that night. I know I got to carry that speaker home again, but right now I'm having fun. Plus, the people are good friends.
So maybe compared to other political work, you get more hits from it.
Yeah. Oh, you get the applause, we get working with people like, and all the time we're getting, gee, you people are so wonderful to do this without, making money on it.
Well, sometimes we get the opposite.
Even have people doing documentaries on us.
I don't know why. This is a very strange world. Shannon, what are you going to say?
Related to that is just the fact of the difference between doing the band, instead of putting up posters and doing the political work that way, the band carries those A7s up and down the stairs. And like lots of times I wonder when we're moving this equipment. I really do wonder, because there's a lot of, sometimes the people who are running the gig don't appreciate what the band's doing, and they are really stingy and really, if I have to get a beer for our sound person, Doug, they say, well, he can get it, like they don't want me to take 2 beers, and sometimes I get that kind of feedback.
Well, a lot of times they just figure we get up there and play, that we don't practice, we don't do nothing but do that.
Yeah,
right? We just get up there, we get up there every month, and that's it, we just play it, right?
No.
Well, what people also don't see is they don't see the fact that in order for us to, let's say on a Saturday, be performing for 9 or 9:30, that whole thing gets in motion at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it takes 3 hours to just to set up the equipment and get it ready to play.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, if there's no problems.
You got to carry everything 4 times to play once.
Smaller loop. Fits in the box.
remind me of Mickey to give on my last day work.
Well, fuck it. I experienced that myself, and I feel like especially the play on your last day, and then you get
Right. You know, I haven't had as much. I mean, the last set that we played was more fun than I could ever have in a long time.
Now you're gonna be a kid.
You know it already.
Oh, spring Texas, I drop it.
Anybody want to learn how to carry heavy equipment? This is an advanced educational experience.
It's also something that I guess we got skills to do, and I think it's, you know, you use the bulk of your skills the best you can.
It's working for something that we all believe in and giving our energy for that. And if I was really rich, then I'd give money maybe, right? But instead I give my time and my art.
I'd sort of had a fantasy like this band, maybe 8-10 years ago. And I have fantasies all the time, and this is...
Sometimes during songs. Like what key are we in?
It wasn't your fantasy, my fantasy is different. But actually, this is really
to play a different song.
virtually the only one of my fantasies that's come anywhere close to actually coming true. And I get a lot of energy just out of that.
This is absolutely the best way to play rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, the rock and roll scene, it's not the macho scene, it's not the dollar scene, and I have a lot of fun with these people. Plus, I get something done in the community.
I think that's why
I mean, what a neat thing.
Yeah.